Let me start off by saying that I'm not really an Apple fanboy. In fact, I'm in my 40s right now, and I didn't even have my first Apple until probably my late 30s, if even that. So I had PCs my entire life, and there's a reason why. I eventually was able to purchase this 27-inch iMac. I got some older ones as well, but this is the 2017 iMac 27-inch. And why do I think it's the best computer ever? There's a lot of reasons that go into it, and people are these are the kind of videos that get people just going after you in the comments and stuff. And just, let's keep it nice. Obviously, I'm just, trying to make some content here. I want to give you my thoughts on it. I definitely want to hear your thoughts as well. But as far as the experience that I'm actually used to on computers, this is a total step up. And I'm going to get into why. Number one, the experience is good, and then the price. And these things are pretty expensive, but you can find them used not too bad. And I'll go through some examples of that. So let's get into it. Let's break this down. Why is this my favorite computer? I guess the way to put it that way, to make it a little less controversial. Why is it my favorite computer out there? And why should it be yours too? So the first thing I want to get rid of is just the pricing. That's kind of the elephant in the room. We want to make sure that we clear that. Everyone's going to say that they're so expensive out there, and they are. They're pretty expensive. But I want to go ahead and show you, if you do a little due diligence and you actually do some research, I have a bunch of used, ones I do my reviews on and stuff like that, and then I sell them. But you can find a pretty good deal on these, and I want to go ahead and show you that. Right now is probably the toughest time to find a good deal on a used system or a refurb system, just because of the coronavirus going on. Everyone wants home computers right now. But even so, you can still get these for a fairly good price. So I'm going to go ahead and show you that right now. Let's just see what the cost is generally, and then we'll come back. Let me just start off by saying that I'm actually very shocked at what the costs are now, because I picked mine up for a lot less than this. But if you head out to Micro Center or a store like that, you can see here's the 2019 27-inch all-in-one desktop 5K, $1,779.99. So, and you can get it for $1,690 with the credit card and all that. So you're kind of in that $1,600 to $1,700 range for the base model, which again, I picked up my 2017 for about $1,400, and that was from Best Buy, and that was maybe a couple years ago. So prices are actually going up on these. But let's go ahead and take a look at a couple more things here. So if you go on eBay, this is the amazing part with the coronavirus and everything else. They're holding their value so high, it's incredible. This is a 2019 5K. It's $1,525.99. It's a used model. So if you go to a reputable place, you might be able to get one of these for around $1,500, somewhere in that range for a 2019. Again, they were a lot cheaper before. They were holding their value right now because they're just highly sought after right now in the used market. If you keep going down the list, if you want to score a really old one, maybe a 2015. I don't know if I'd recommend going that far back, but you're maybe even around the $929 price. And there's not even many on eBay. And a couple years ago when I was looking, even maybe a year and a half ago, these were like $500-$600, and there was thousands of them. So yeah, I think the coronavirus has really tightened up the market. But let's go ahead and take a couple more of these. So this is the one I would probably recommend getting, from the Mac of all trades. Look at this. It's basically, a 2015 if you want to get one. Again, it's a little bit older, but they have different versions in here, but it's $1,349. So, you're going to be in that price range, just, if you want a nice system with the screen. But looks like you're around $1,700-$1,800 for a 2019. So let's just keep that in mind. That's about what they cost. All right, now one of the reasons I think it's the best computer, and it's pretty much, for me at least, has been the best experience ever on a computer, is I just enjoy using it. The screen, that's really the main reason. So it's a 5K screen, and when you actually pull it up and look at text and look at everything else on it, it's just beautiful. The images on it, even the desktop, backgrounds and things like that, when you walk up to it, just looks incredibly sharp and incredibly nice. So, realistically, is that worth the money? No. But when you actually want to use a computer versus, really, struggling to use it, it makes your life a lot easier. And when you do keep it, 5, 6, 7 years, the price kind of obviously becomes less. Also, these have really good resale values. I have a video on that. I can sell this probably for 60% of what I bought it for 5 years later, 70%, whatever. I don't know why, but they do. So you got to take that into account. You can keep getting newer systems and stuff like that, and it's not too bad when you have to sell it and you get that money back. So keep that in mind. But the screen, is one of the best things about it. And let me go ahead and show you why it's such a good value on this system. Let's go ahead and see what a 5K screen would normally cost. And this is built in. And not only is this a 5K screen, it's probably one of the best that's out there. So let's go ahead and take a look at what other 5K screens cost. All right, so first of all, there's not a ton of 5K screens that are even available right now. This LG is one of the more common ones. You see this a lot, like kind of, people that buy Mac Minis and stuff may use this screen. Let's take a look at it. It's the LG 27MD5KL-B, so it is a 27-inch, just like the iMac. If you look at it, it's the 520, 5120 by 2880. 500, nits, very similar, but look at the price of it. It's almost about $1,200, so $1,200 roughly, and it's a 27-inch monitor. And you're not getting a computer with this. It's just the monitor, and it's not probably the same quality as the Apple monitors. So as you can see, just the screen alone is a pretty good value. And when you add that to the fact that just watching, you can watch 4 or 5K, even if there is 5K, but you can watch 4K videos on YouTube. Thing handles them really well. Beautiful things to look at. So, as more and more things become YouTube sensitive and, you're stuck in your room and you don't even have access to a big TV, having a 4K or 5K monitor is really a big deal because you get to watch all the content on YouTube. And it really does, make it more enjoyable. That's just from my standpoint. Again, everyone's going to have their own arguments and stuff, but realistically, when it comes to the end of the day, I really love using it. And then, so we have the price of the screen, so let's add the internals. So, I have a 2017. Again, you have to look at, this is a couple years old already, but we'll look maybe at a newer one, and we'll kind of subtract some of the costs of the actual computer and the screen together, and then we'll get to that value, that value standpoint. So let's go ahead and do that right now. All right, so if you look back at this one, it's $17.79. You can actually get it for maybe $16.90 with the credit card, but let's just go with $17.99. And let's go ahead and look at the monitor. It's about $1,200. So if we subtract that from this, we're looking at about a $500 computer portion of this computer. So for $500, what are you getting? You're getting the i5, you're getting 8 gigs of RAM, you're getting a Fusion drive, which is, sometimes I boot off my external SSDs, but long story short, you get a Fusion drive, a terabyte of that. You get an AMD Radeon 570X, which is a dedicated graphics card. You can see there, maybe that's worth $150 alone right there. Plus you get the whole package together in a nice aluminum case, really bright 500-nit monitor. It's just a really, really good package that works really well with the Apple ecosystem. And you're talking about $500 for that computer portion when you factor in $1,200 for the actual monitor. And if we go down the line really quickly and you order a little bit older one, and if times come back when the coronavirus is not affecting pricing so much, you might be able to get a 2017 for this. But here's a 2015, $1,349. So now you're looking maybe at like a $100 cost for the computer, and you still get that 5K screen. So here's where the value comes in. All right, so when you add everything up, you can see that it's actually not that bad of a deal, really. When you look at something like a MacBook Pro or something where you have a tiny little screen that you can usually purchase on another laptop for really cheap, but when you have a 5K screen that you can't really get anywhere else, and then you add the computer to it and everything else, comes with the keyboard, comes with the mouse, whatever, not too much money, but maybe another $100 or $150 for the quality components that come with it. You start to look at a system, if you can score it used or you can get something that's refurbished from Apple, it's really not a bad value. And for a YouTube person like myself, again, this is one of the reasons I love this computer is because it really got me into YouTube creation. I'm not the best, you can tell by my videos. I don't take a lot of time. I want to just get the content out, to help people. I'm not trying to, create the next Steven Spielberg movie or something like that. And I'm trying to get better with it. But at the end of the day, it just really helps me get into it where I actually have a system I enjoy working on. And this really got me into just kind of making videos. So that's a huge advantage for it. And it's, it starts to make money back when you make videos and you get past your subscriber limits and stuff. So at the end of the day, if it can make you money, and you can even, in the case of YouTube, if that's one of your normal jobs and what have you, if you can write it off, which I can't right now because I have a normal day job, but but if you can do that, then that's actually just more power to you, and also going to be a cheaper cost ultimately. All right, so I know this is going to be a topic that's going to get a lot of Apple haters involved, and I'm not sure why they watch Apple videos. Again, I used to be one. I used to not like Apple that much, but just please be nice in the comments. Tell me what you think. Tell me what's your favorite computer. Things are changing definitely. There's going to be more of these 5K screens coming out. There's reasonable 4K screens. I just did a video on that. Some of them are the 250, 300s for 4K. So things are changing, but right now, this system, even with this old design, it's still my favorite. It just wants me to, use the computer every day. I love using it, and I guess at the end of the day, that's really what it comes down to. Are you enjoying yourself? You're on the earth one time, right? I buy a lot of electronics. A lot of people buy a lot of different small stuff, sometimes cheaper, and then they end up adding up to the cost of something like this. So if something like this makes your life a little bit better, and you can afford it, I'm not saying that it's something that everyone can afford, but look for used systems, look for quality stuff from used places. If you can swing it, it's definitely worth it. I give it 2 thumbs up. So anyways, you guys can support my channel. I do videos on a lot of Mac stuff, a lot of Apple, obviously, and I do PC stuff as well. So if you guys can support my channel, just click the like button and a thumbs up. Talk to you next week. Thanks.